My beloved child, I want you to understand that life is not merely days passing by, but a journey steeped in meaning and full of the purpose I have laid before you. From the moment you opened your eyes to the world, I gave you a precious gift that no one can take away: the ability to find light within darkness, to perceive the worth of each moment, and to choose what is good rather than remain indifferent. In this turbulent and chaotic world, not everyone sees that every action, every thought, and every silent minute holds the power to transform not only themselves, but also the souls of others in profound ways. Many pass through your life without seeing the light. They fixate on the trivial and transient, forgetting the depths of what I have placed within each person, in each gesture, every breath, each heartbeat. But you, my dear child, have chosen differently. You have kept faith, offered loyalty and love, and through those choices you are sowing seeds of hope, goodness, and light, seeds that one day will blossom and bring wondrous change to you and to all whom you touch. Know that the seemingly small moments of daily life contain far greater significance than you imagine. When you pause to listen to the wind whispering through the leaves, when you watch a bird spread its wings across the sky, when you notice sunlight gently filtering through a window, these are all signs of my presence and my love. No detail of creation is accidental, and no soul wanders unseen by me. Learn to listen with your whole heart, not merely with your physical ears or eyes, so that you may perceive the messages I send through the simplest things. For it is precisely in the ordinary, in humble actions full of meaning, that my boundless love and wisdom are revealed. Understand that stillness, attentiveness, and mindful presence in each moment are the road leading you to deep comprehension of life, of who you are, and of your relationship with me, the Creator, who loves and continually guides you. I know there are times when you look around and see so many closed hearts, so many people who ignore the opportunities to love, forgive, and reach for the light. They pass by your life without recognizing the value of the choices they make. They overlook my gentle reminders, forgetting that persistent indifference draws them further from the light, and that such refusal will bring consequences that cannot be avoided. Yet you, my beloved child, have chosen differently. You have decided to walk toward the light, to remain faithful in every passing moment, and with a steadfast heart, you are planting seeds of goodness, seeds that, though small now, will one day grow into sturdy trees that shelter, protect, and bear sweet fruit for all who come near. You have shown that even when surrounded by darkness and rejection, you can become a lamp to illuminate the way, a living testament to hope that never dies. Every step you take, every choice you make, every faithful moment is recorded in the great ledger over which I watch. You may not see immediate results, but what you sow today will sprout in time, bringing light to you, to those around you, and even to souls that seemed utterly lost. Remember that I have given you the strength to endure trials, to hold fast to faith when the world around you is troubled, and to choose love in the smallest of deeds. Every gentle word, every act of kindness, every moment of listening and forgiveness is a paving stone on the road to a life of true meaning and joy. As Paul wrote, "So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God." 1 Corinthians 1:0-3:1. And you see that by living honestly, kindly, and lovingly, you offer me glory, as the light of love shines through each of your words and actions. Remember that even when you see others ignore my guidance, even when you witness their hearts turn away and pass by chances to change, your responsibility does not change. You must continue to shine, to sow seeds of goodness, to live with integrity and love. For it is in your steadfastness, in your unwavering faithfulness, that you become a living testimony to the power of light and love. The deeds you perform, however small, are not forgotten. They create a current of hope and healing, a stream that one day will touch the hearts of those drowning in darkness and bring them back to the light and to truth. And in that process you learn the lessons of inward strength, of courage, and of the capacity to endure the trials I have given you, not to punish, but to refine, to polish, and to lift you higher. Life is like a vast tapestry that I weave from every living soul, each event, and every choice of humankind. Each act of love you perform is a bright thread, every faithful moment, a delicate stitch, and every trial you overcome, a sturdy patch that helps complete the glorious rug. Even when you feel small or alone, know that your significance does not depend on the world's recognition, but on the devotion, faithfulness, and love you give to all things around you. Trust that each step, every loving deed, every patient moment is a jewel in the multicolored fabric I weave, and that this fabric, with all its diversity and beauty, will one day be revealed whole, demonstrating that love, faithfulness, and patience are eternally valuable. I am always present, even when you cannot sense me with your senses. I watch your every step, every thought, every gesture, and every silent moment. I do not judge in the way you fear. Rather, I guide, uphold, and encourage you to grow in love, in understanding, and in light. What you sow today will take root and become a firm foundation for you and for those you love. That is why you must never forego an opportunity to sow goodness and spread light, for the small things of today will lead to the great miracles of tomorrow. My beloved child, I know there are times when you grow weary on this path of faithfulness. You may ask, does my perseverance truly matter? Will the seeds I plant ever sprout? I want you to understand that it is precisely in the hours when you see no result, in the days that feel barren, that your faith is being tested and purified. You do not live to seek the world's approval. You do not sow for applause, but because you trust me, the one who sees all and measures by faithfulness, not by fleeting success. Remember that when a seed lies still within the earth, it seems to vanish, yet in truth it is quietly germinating in the dark. No one sees, but life stirs within. Likewise, your good works, your faithful tears, your silent sacrifices that go unnoticed, none of these are meaningless. They are building an everlasting harvest, and I am the one who will cause it to bloom in the appointed time. Look back on those who went before you, those who chose faithfulness amid adversity. Abraham obeyed when I called him to go to a land he did not know. Joseph kept his integrity through years of imprisonment and betrayal, yet was raised up to save a nation. David once fled into dark caves, pursued even by the one he faithfully served, yet he refused to take vengeance, because he trusted that I am the righteous dispenser of justice. Each figure in those histories endured long seasons of silence and years when promises seemed unfulfilled. Yet it was in that patient, faithful waiting that their faith was forged, and my light was revealed more clearly than ever. Know that you are walking that same road. You are not alone on this journey, for a great cloud of witnesses has gone before you, and I walk with you still. Darkness is not my absence, but the ground where I refine you. When you enter seasons in which prayers appear unanswered, and you look around only to find silence, do not rush to conclude that I have abandoned you. No, beloved, it is precisely in that silence that I am at work deep within your soul. I am teaching you to trust me, not merely to seek signs. I am teaching you to love me for who I am, not merely for the blessings I give. Remember Hebrews 1:1. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped, for the conviction of things not seen. True faith is not born of ease, but is tempered in trial. When you remain faithful, continue to love, to forgive, and to sow even before you see the harvest, you become a powerful witness to the world that love and trust in me cannot be shaken. You may ask, how can I remain faithful when I am exhausted, when I am betrayed, when my efforts seem trampled? Child, you are not left to fight alone. My Holy Spirit is the strength that upholds you each day. When you are weak, my power is fully revealed. When you shed silent tears, my hand wipes each one away. When you cannot walk, I will carry you upon my shoulder. You do not need to rely solely on your own strength to be faithful, for my grace is sufficient for you. Remember that faithfulness is not a burden placed upon your shoulders, but the natural response of a heart that knows my love. When you truly grasp how deeply I love you, when you behold the cross and see that my Son gave himself completely for you, your heart will be moved to faithfulness not by fear, but by love. Regard faithfulness as a small lamp in the night. It may seem frail, yet it is enough to light the path and guide the lost back to the way. When you are faithful in your family, you bequeath to the next generation a legacy more precious than any material wealth. When you are faithful at work unseen, though it may be, you become a quiet example to colleagues and friends. When you remain faithful in relationships despite hurt, you reflect my undying love. And when you stand faithful in belief amid a skeptical world, you become a living voice, proclaiming that the light never goes out. Do not despise your small lamp, for set alongside the lamps of countless other faithful ones, the whole world is illumined. Do not allow disappointment to cool your heart. Do not let others' betrayals cause you to close yourself off. Do not let unfulfilled dreams discourage you. Remember, faithfulness is not measured by immediate outcomes, but by perseverance with each step. Like the farmer who waits for rain to sow and sun to reap, you must patiently await my season, and I promise you that season will surely come. No seed sown in tears is left ungathered into joy. No faithful deed of yours will vanish into nothingness. All are remembered by me. I am faithful, and I will reward in due time. I know that remaining faithful is not easy. It requires self-denial, the courage to love when hatred is easier, the patience to forgive when revenge would be simpler. But remember, you do not fight alone. You walk the path that my Son once walked. He too was betrayed, mocked, and despised, yet he remained faithful to death, and through that faithfulness, humanity was redeemed. When you choose faithfulness, you follow in his footsteps, and in that walking you discover the true meaning of life. In the end, it is not outward success that determines your worth, but faithfulness in the small moments that test and reveal the love and light I have placed within you. My beloved child, now that you have heard and felt the words before you, I invite you to go even deeper into the reality you live in, into how your life may become a work of transformation, not only through great events, but by a steady chain of ordinary days. I have spoken of seeds and lamps. These images are not mere metaphors, but a practical map for spiritual living. A seed needs soil and darkness to germinate. A lamp needs oil and a soul willing to keep watch in order to shine. Now I would speak with you of practical matters, how to set your hands to cultivate, how to keep your heart from growing callous, and how to make your light burn not briefly, but as a steadfast lighthouse in the great sea. First, acknowledge that faithfulness is not passive, it is a disciplined practice. Each day you choose an action, an attitude, and through those choices your character is formed. This means you need subtle yet strong habits, inward and ordinary acts that are simple yet transformative over time. Prayer is not necessarily long words. It may be a silent minute at dawn, a look of gratitude before a meal, a whispered plea when you see someone stumble. Listening is not only with the ears but with the heart. Listen to the weak, receive the hard words, hear the silence within yourself. Forgiveness may not be a dramatic daily act, but the exercise of the heart begins with letting go of small grievances. From those small acts, you will learn to forgive deeper wounds. When you make these habits, your life will no longer be governed by chance. You will become a firm foundation, a steady stream, watering the soil where seeds are sown. Second, refine your sense of responsibility. The life of faith is not simply a fleeting spiritual high, but an acceptance of responsibility for what is around you, in family, at work, among neighbors, and toward the souls who have fallen to the margins. Responsibility is not a yoke, but a partnership with grace. It calls you to act with honesty and compassion. When you care for the sick, protect the vulnerable from injustice, and speak truth even when it costs you favor. You allow the light I give to shine in the world. I do not want you to seek proud satisfaction, but I want you to recognize that small responsibilities assumed today will crystallize into a lasting spiritual inheritance for tomorrow. Thirdly, my child, learn to cultivate humility. Humility is not degrading yourself into worthlessness, but recognizing your own limits and acknowledging my power. The humble do not need praise to do what is right. They act because what is right is right. In this life, you will often be misunderstood, deserted, or experience success at inopportune times. Keep a gentle heart, admit when you are wrong, accept help when you are weary, and let others shine when they are better suited. For it is in humility that the seed of spiritual life is sheltered and can grow. And when you acknowledge your limitations, I can place my power into those gaps so that good may be done. I urge you to tend to the life of the community. Personal faith has its value, but faith lived among people is what endures. Seek companions who will walk with you, hearts willing to share responsibility, to pray with you, and to show mercy together. In community, you learn patience, learn to see one another's hidden places, learn to bear rather than abandon. There are times when I use the community itself to heal your wounds. There are times when I place you where you become the healer for another. Do not underestimate the power of sharing a meal, of telling a story, or of doing a small good deed together. These are the threads that weave a saving net. Let me speak plainly about justice and mercy, two things your mind often balances. I know you wonder, how can I be both gracious and just? The truth is, mercy and justice are not opposed. They complement one another. Mercy makes me patient. Justice makes me true. When I give many chances to the thoughtless, that is mercy. When I let consequences of their choices appear, that is a sign of the natural order I respect. Do not be mistaken, judgment is sometimes a sounding bell, an invitation to return rather than a final condemnation. Live by that attitude, forgive but do not identify with wrongdoing. Love but do not accept injustice. In such a way you become a guardian, gentle yet clear, guiding without humiliating, reminding without condemning. You may face times of discouragement when your actions yield no obvious fruit. I want to encourage you with a word from Scripture. Do not grow weary in doing good. If you do not lose heart at the proper time, you will reap. Galatians 6:9. Not every miracle happens immediately, but patience, born of faithful practice, will bring a harvest. Be courageous in keeping a steady rhythm, doing good in silence, and trust that I am faithful. Sometimes the result will not come as you expect, but I see and I will appear when you least suspect. Finally, cherish the spiritual legacy you create. Every word of love, every act of justice, every time you kneel to apologize, every minute you give to the lonely, all are stored in an invisible treasury that will one day be revealed. That legacy is not worldly property inherited by papers, but an enduring influence across time, hearts, comforted relationships, mended children, growing up, thankful, and learning to love. You may not see all the fruit, but do not abandon the blossoms for that reason. My child, as you continue to perform the small, holy tasks, in order, as you choose responsibility over indifference, as you cultivate humility and bind yourself to community, the light within you will persist. Walk slowly but surely. Do not rush after merely emotional outcomes. Let your life be a plain but honest mirror, reflecting the love I have given. And when weariness comes, remember I am always with you, upholding you by grace, guiding you step by step toward a hopeful harvest. This is the word I give you today. Continue to sow, continue to keep the lamp lit, and continue to live as one entrusted with a sacred task, so that this world, though sometimes dark, will never lack a light sufficient to show the way. My beloved child, in the stillness of the early morning before the sun has yet lifted itself from the horizon, and while the dew still clings to the leaves, I wish to whisper to you a truth that many forget. I am not only the one who begins, but also the one who upholds every step of your journey. I do not abandon you after rescuing you. I continue to walk with you, to guide, to sustain, and to instruct so that you may mature in the light. Like a father watching his child's tentative steps, I am patient, neither hurried nor indifferent. I have seen you stumble many times, turn back and want to stop, yet I do not drive you away nor scold you. Instead, I reach out gently, take your hand, and lift you up again. Sometimes you ask, why is my life of faith so full of hardship? Why, when I resolve to follow, you are there? So many obstacles, so many trials, so many wounds. Child, let me answer. My love does not desire for you to live in shallowness. My love does not want you to know only the sweetness of easy days, without the strength that hardship forges. If you lived only in tranquil times, would you ever learn perseverance? If you walked only on paths strewn with flowers, would you ever grasp the value of steadfast hope? If you heard only praise, would you learn humility? No, child, only by passing through valleys of darkness. Do you recognize how precious my light island? Only by bearing burdens do you understand the power of my grace. Imagine then that I am like a translator. I will not soften every sentence for you. I shape your understanding so that your soul learns to endure. Therefore, do not take trials as a sign that I have abandoned you. On the contrary, it is precisely in those hard days that I am nearer to you than ever. Just as the potter places a clay vessel into the furnace not to destroy it, but to make it strong, beautiful, and useful, I also use the fire of trial to refine you. And just as the potter watches the kiln, never allowing the heat to exceed what the vessel can bear, I likewise guard so that the trial will not surpass your strength. Every tear you shed I gather into my container. Every sigh you utter I hear. Every pain you endure I understand. Do not think I am indifferent. My heart beats in step with your suffering, yet my love looks beyond, foreseeing the glory that will come after hardship, foreseeing the fruit that will spring from seeds buried deep in the earth. My child, you are not destined to live forever in weakness. I call you out of darkness so that you may become a lamp in the night. I place you in the world not to be dissolved by it, but to become salt that preserves. I let you pass through battles not to crush you, but to teach you how to wield the weapons of faith. As Paul wrote, "When I am weak, then I am strong." 2 Corinthians 1:2-1:0. Remember, true strength does not come from your own will, but from your grasping firmly to the Father. The more you know your helplessness, the more you learn to rely, and then my power is revealed fully in you. Think of Joseph, the son betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery. Who could imagine that a young man betrayed, falsely accused, and forgotten in prison could become a prime minister and save a nation? Yet it was in those dark years that I shaped him into a man of broad heart, one who could forgive and bear great responsibility. Had he not endured those seasons of confinement, could Joseph have stood steady when he had to shoulder all of Egypt? So it is with your story. Your trial today is preparation for tomorrow. Do not be quick to look at the present and lose heart, for I am composing a great painting, and you have only seen a few brushstrokes. I know your sleepless nights, the times your heart is twisted with worry over unanswered questions. I know when you sit alone in the dark, staring into the endless void, and ask, "Father, are you really here?" You think I am silent, but it is precisely in that silence that I am at work. Like a seed in the earth, silent and unseen, it is not dead. In the silence, life stirs, germinates, and puts forth shoots. And in time, what I promised will rise up green and strong, exceeding what you can imagine. Keep faithfulness. Persist even before you see results. Like the farmer who sows seed, he does not sit counting days to complain why the plant has not sprouted. He sows in trust waters with patience, and then in season he will reap. So too, sow prayers, water them with faith, wait in patience, and in due time you will receive an abundant harvest. No tear you shed is wasted. No prayer you offer is lost to the void. All are being woven into a great tapestry, where each stitch, however small, contributes to eternal beauty. My beloved, I do not call you only to receive comfort, but to become an instrument of comfort for others. I do not heal you so you may hoard that healing, but so you may be a healing hand to the wounded. I do not give you light merely to guide your own path, but so you may also be a lamp to those who are lost. You have suffered, and so you know the meaning of tears. You have stumbled, and so you know how to lift others. You have been forgiven, and so you know how to forgive. You are living proof that my love can transform a human being. Therefore, have courage to keep going. Do not let weariness stop you from rising. Do not let disappointment bind your steps. You were made to soar like an eagle, not to drag along in the dust. You were destined to sing a song of victory, not to be forever sobbing in defeat. Lift your eyes. Do not keep looking down. Look to the Father, not only to the difficulty. For I am the one who began the good work in you, and I will be faithful to complete it. Philippians 1:6. That is my promise, and it never changes. My child, right now as you hear these words, I want you to know that my presence surrounds you. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not astray. You rest in the hand of the one who made the universe, and yet cares about the small beats of your heart. Rest in my love, for I am your sure refuge. My beloved, there are times in life when you feel as if you drift on a vast ocean with no shore in sight, not knowing which way to go. The waves of anxiety, fear, and doubt crash upon you, making you feel as though you will sink. You call out, "Father, do you see me? Do you hear me cry?" And you interpret my silence as evidence that I do not listen. But child, silence is not absence. I am silent so that you may learn to listen inwardly, to cling to my promises rather than to passing signs. If I answered every cry immediately, you would grow accustomed to living by feeling. But when I let you wait, I am training your spiritual ears to hear deeper, not merely the noise outside, but the pulse of my heart. Therefore, do not regard trials as a sign that I have abandoned you. On the contrary, it is precisely in those hard days that I am closer to you than ever. Just as the potter places a clay vessel into the kiln not to destroy it, but to make it strong, beautiful, and useful, I use the fire of testing to refine you. And just as the potter watches the kiln, never allowing the heat to exceed what the vessel can bear, I also watch over you so that the trial will not exceed your capacity. Every tear you shed I gather into my jar. Every sigh you breathe I hear. Every pain you endure I understand. Do not think I am indifferent. My heart moves in rhythm with your suffering, yet my love looks beyond the moment, foreseeing the glory that will follow hardship, foreseeing the fruit that will spring from seeds buried deep in the earth. My child, you are not meant to remain weak forever. I call you out of darkness so that you may become a lamp in the night. I set you in the world not to be dissolved by it, but to be salt that preserves. I lead you through battles not to crush you, but to teach you how to wield the weapons of faith. As Paul wrote, "When I am weak, then I am strong." 2 Corinthians 1:2-1-0. Remember, true strength does not come from your own will, but from your holding fast to the Father. The more you acknowledge your helplessness, the more you learn to rely, and then my power is fully revealed in you. Think of Joseph, the son betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery. Who would have imagined that a young man betrayed, falsely accused, and forgotten in a prison could rise to become a prime minister who saved a nation? Yet it was in those dark years that I formed him into a man with a broad heart, one who could forgive and bear heavy responsibility. Had he not endured confinement, could Joseph have stood firm when he had to carry all of Egypt on his shoulders? so it is with your story. Your trial today is preparation for tomorrow. Do not be quick to look at the present and lose heart, for I am painting a great picture, and you have seen only a few brushstrokes. I know your sleepless nights, the times your heart tightens with worry over unanswered questions. I know when you sit alone in the darkness, staring into the endless void and ask, Father, are you really here? You think I am silent, but it is precisely in that silence that I am at work. Like a seed in the earth, silent and unseen, it is not dead. In the silence, life stirs, germinates, and sprouts, and in time, what I have promised will rise up green and strong, exceeding what you can imagine. Keep faithful. Persevere even before you see results. Like the farmer who sows seed, he does not sit counting days to complain why the plant has not sprouted. He sows in trust waters with patience, and then in season he will reap. So also sow prayers, water them with faith, wait in patience, and in due time you will receive an abundant harvest. No tear you shed is wasted, no prayer you offer is lost into the void. All are being woven into a great tapestry, where each stitch, however small, contributes to eternal beauty. My beloved, I do not call you only to receive comfort, but to become an instrument of comfort for others. I do not heal you, so that you may keep that healing to yourself, but so that you may be a healing hand to those who are wounded. I do not give you light merely to guide your own path, but so that you may also become a lamp for the lost. You have suffered, therefore you know the meaning of tears. You have stumbled, therefore you know how to lift others. You have been forgiven, therefore you know how to forgive. You are living proof that my love can transform a person. So be courageous and keep going. Do not let weariness stop you from rising. Do not let disappointment bind your steps. You were made to soar like an eagle, not to trudge in the dust. You were destined to sing a song of victory, not to forever sob in defeat. Lift your eyes. Do not keep looking down. Look to the Father, not only to the difficulty, for I am the one who began the good work in you, and I will be faithful to complete it. Philippians 1:6. That is my promise, and that promise never changes. My child, right now, as you hear these words, I want you to know that my presence surrounds you. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not astray. You rest in the hand of the one who made the universe, yet cares for the small beats of your heart. Rest in my love, for I am your sure refuge. My beloved, there are times in life when you feel as if you drift upon a vast ocean with no shore in sight, not knowing which way to go. The waves of anxiety, fear, and doubt crash upon you, making you feel as though you will sink. You cry out, Father, do you see me? Do you hear me cry? And you interpret my silence as proof that I do not listen. But child, silence is not absence. I am silent, so that you may learn to listen inwardly, to cling to my promises, rather than to passing signs. If I answered every cry immediately, you would grow accustomed to living by feeling. But when I let you wait, I am training your spiritual ears to hear more deeply, not merely the noises outside, but the pulse of my heart. You often think that true love must always come with obvious guarantees, an immediate miracle, an instantly open door, a clear answer. But my love is not limited to short-term proof. My love goes farther. It grants you a foundation that does not shake. Imagine a father teaching his child to swim. If he always holds the child in his arms, the child will never learn to keep afloat. But when he allows the child with hesitation to release and float, while still watching, the child discovers that the strength within, stirred by the Father, can sustain it. My child, I am like that. When I let you swim in deep waters, it is not because I have abandoned you, but because I want you to learn to trust the invisible hands that uphold you. I want you to understand that growth in faith does not arise from ease, but from testing. Just as gold is purified when tested by fire, so your soul shines brightest when it passes through trials. If your life consisted only of sunshine, would you know how to value a refreshing rain? If you had never been thirsty, would you appreciate the worth of a single sip of water? If you had never fallen, would you know the true meaning of rising? It is the dark days that teach you to cherish the light. It is the tears that teach you the depth of joy. I do not desire your suffering, yet I can turn suffering into a school where you learn lessons that nowhere else can teach. Remember Job, who lost all his possessions, his children, his health, and whose friends turned away. He sat on the ash heap lamenting and questioning, yet he held fast to faithfulness, and in the end I restored him and gave him twice as much. That story is not merely about reward, but a reminder that even when everything seems to collapse, I am present. Even when you do not understand, I am weaving a larger plan. Your life is not only about the present, it is oriented toward the eternal. And the tears of today, I promise I will dry with my own hands on the day that is to come. Learn to see life through the lens of faith. The world teaches you to look at circumstances, but I teach you to look to the one who fashioned those circumstances. The world calls you a victim, but I call you a victor. The world sees failure, but I see training. The world demands evidence, but I call you to place trust in what the eyes have not yet seen. Choose to look with spiritual eyes. When Jesus hung upon the cross, many saw only a condemned criminal, but I saw my only Son fulfilling the plan of redemption. When the tomb was sealed, many saw an ending, but I saw the beginning of resurrection life. And when you see the cracks in your life, I see the openings through which my light will shine. My child, on this journey I do not expect that you will go without falling, but that when you fall you will run to me. Do not fear weakness. It is in weakness that my power is displayed. The more you confess your inability, the more you will experience my sustaining help. Paul said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 1:2-9. Do not try to hide your wounds from me, for I know them all. I do not seek outward perfection. I seek a sincere heart. Bring me your weakness, your fear, your doubt, and I will transform them into faith, hope, and strength. But remember also that the forgiveness I give is not for you to keep alone, but to give away. Resentment can quietly consume a soul. Many times you think that holding on to anger will make you stronger, but in truth it only binds you more. Forgiveness is not denial of the wound, but entrusting it to the Father to heal. Forgiveness is not agreement with the wrong, but a choice not to let it control you. Look to my Son who prayed from the cross, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Follow that example. Forgiveness is not easy, but when you begin, my grace will empower you. Love and forgiveness go hand in hand. Where love is absent, darkness easily takes hold. Love is not a fragile feeling, but a decision, an action. You may not always feel affectionate, but you can choose to love. To love is to give, to sacrifice, to place another's good above your own. Each time you choose to love, even in a small act, you reflect my image. As John wrote, "Whoever does not love does not know God, for God is love." 1 John 4:8. Remember, love is the mark that you truly belong to me, my beloved child. I know there are moments when you feel that love has run dry. You think, "I have forgiven too many times, I have loved too long. I have been patient beyond measure." But my child, the source of love does not lie within you, it lies within me. When you remain connected to me, the living water will flow and never run dry. When you are weary, come to me, and I will give you rest. When you feel empty, open your heart, and I will fill it. Do not try to force yourself by your own strength. Let me be the river that flows within you, so that love and forgiveness will spring forth naturally, not as a burden. Never forget that you were destined to live in freedom. Freedom from sin, freedom from the chains of the past, freedom from fear. You are no longer a slave, you are a child. You no longer need to hide, you are welcomed into the presence of the Father. Do not live as though you are poor when you carry the inheritance of an heir. Do not dwell in shame when you have been justified. Do not cower in fear when my arms are open wide to embrace you. You have been placed in my family, and nothing can snatch you out of my hand. So then lift up your head. Do not let burdens weigh you down. Do not let lies blind your eyes. Fix your gaze on me, the one who began a good work in you, and will surely bring it to completion. You may not yet see the whole, but believe that the masterpiece is taking shape. Every broken piece in my hands becomes a work of art. Every wound in my hands becomes a testimony of grace. And every journey, no matter how winding, leads to the good purpose I have prepared for you. My beloved, as you walk on the path I have set before you, there will be times when you ask, why do things not come immediately? Why are my prayers not yet answered, and why must I still wait amid weariness and doubt? My child, I want you to know that in the delay I am shaping your soul, expanding your endurance, and giving you a heart more steadfast than ever before. For if everything came easily, you would never know the meaning of true strength, and you would not grasp the value of holding on to what is precious after trial. I place you in seasons of waiting, not to abandon you, but to form in your resilience, so that when you receive, you will hold it with gratitude and wisdom. Look back at the life of Abraham, the father of faith. He was promised descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore, yet he waited many long years through the weariness of old age, through the frailty of his body. And yet it was in that waiting that his faith was refined like gold in the fire. And at the appointed time I fulfilled my word. You see, my promise has never failed, and you too, my precious child, will one day see every word I have spoken fulfilled in your life. Delay does not nullify the promise. It only prepares a greater capacity in you to receive it. I also know that in the long days of waiting you are easily troubled by my silence. You may think, have I gone the wrong way? Am I no longer heard by God? But my child, understand this. My silence is not absence. I am still present. I am still watching. I am still walking with you every step. But I choose silence so that you may learn to listen more deeply, so that you will seek me not only in the thunder, but also in the gentle whisper of my spirit. As Elijah discovered, I was not in the powerful wind, nor in the earthquake or the fire, but in the gentle breeze. 1 Kings 1:9-1:2. You must learn this truth. My presence is not loud, but it is certain. Not flamboyant, but steadfast. And my child, when you feel that delay is weighing heavily on your heart, I want you to lift your eyes to the cross. There my son endured the greatest delay humanity has ever known, 3 days in the tomb. Can you imagine the despair of the disciples as they watched their only hope buried? They thought it was the end. But in that very time, the greatest plan of redemption was unfolding. The silence of the tomb was not the end, it was the prelude to glorious resurrection. So when you face delay, remember, it is not the conclusion, but only the prelude to something far greater that I am preparing for you. While you are waiting, I am not only at work in your life, but also in the lives of others. There are people you will meet, there are events you will witness. All of them are being arranged by my hand, so that at the appointed time, everything will align like links in a long chain. If I were to give you what you desire too soon, those links would fall apart, and you would not see the fullness of my plan. But when you wait patiently, you will discover that everything fits together beautifully, and in that moment, you will know that only an almighty hand could compose such a symphony. I see the weariness in your heart when you feel you are striving too much. But you do not realize that in the very moment of your greatest weakness, I am your strength. As Paul heard, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 1:2-9. I do not demand that you be strong at all times. I only ask that you hand over your weakness to me, and when you surrender, I will transform it into a strength that no one can take away. Therefore, instead of viewing delay as a burden, see it as a journey of walking with me. Use that time to deepen your relationship with me, to learn how to hear my voice in the stillness, to build a faith that cannot be shaken. When you do this, you will see that the waiting place is not a barren desert, but a fertile field where the seeds of faith are planted and quietly grow. And on the day I appoint, those seeds will bloom into radiant flowers, declaring to all that it was the work of the Lord. I call you to be steadfast. Do not be afraid when you find yourself walking without seeing the light at the end of the path. Remember that you are not walking alone. I am the light that goes before you, and I will never let you lose your way. Even if you cannot see me with your eyes, trust that I am holding your hand. Even if you cannot hear my voice with your ears, trust that my word is still echoing in your soul. Even if you do not feel strength, trust that I am upholding you. And one day when you look back, you will see that the days you thought were meaningless were the very stones that built the foundation of your life. You will see that every tear, every midnight prayer, every sigh you thought was lost, all of it was recorded by me. Nothing in your life is wasted. Everything is in my hands, and one day I will bring forth a reward for you, not only in this life, but in eternity. My child, now I want you to see a deeper dimension of the journey of faith, the transforming power of my love and grace. You have heard many times that my love is unconditional, but today I want you to grasp it more fully. For once you realize that my love is not merely a beautiful idea to comfort you, but a living reality flowing through every moment of your life, then you will be set free from fear, shame, and the bondage of sin. You often think that I love you when you live well, when you do right, when you obey. And conversely, you fear that I turn away when you fail, when you stumble, when you repeat the very mistakes you despise in yourself. But my child, I want you to know that my love does not fluctuate with your behavior. It is not shaken by your weakness or failure. This love flows from my very nature, and my nature does not change. When I love to the end. When I choose forever. When I promise, I fulfill. Look at Israel. Time and again they rebelled, turned away, and followed false gods. Yet I kept calling them back, kept sending prophets, kept opening a way of return. Why? Because I cannot deny my own nature. I am faithful, rich in mercy, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. Therefore, when you fall, do not let the enemy whisper into your heart that I have rejected you. No, at that very moment I draw closer to lift you up, to wipe your tears, to remind you that you belong to me, and nothing can separate you from that love. Remember the words in Romans 8:39, for I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor rulers, neither things present nor things to come, nor powers, nor height, nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. My child, this is not merely a passage in Scripture, it is an unbreakable covenant. I want to engrave it upon your heart like fire upon stone, so that you will never forget you are standing in a love that cannot be moved. My love not only frees you from fear, but also gives you a new identity. Once you viewed yourself through the lens of failure, through the accusations of the past, through the harsh comparisons the world imposed on you, you once thought you were small, weak, without worth. But I say, you are the child of the King of Kings. You are heir to an eternal inheritance. You are the temple of the Holy Spirit. You are the light of the world, the salt of the earth. When you begin to see yourself through this lens, you will realize that no lie of the enemy can bind you any longer. My child, I do not only love you to comfort you, I love you to transform you. My love is like fire. It is both warm and purifying. It does not tolerate darkness, yet it does not destroy you in your weakness. Instead, it burns away the chains that have bound your soul so you may walk freely in the light. That love opens your eyes to see what you never realized before, that every pain you endured, Every wound of the past can become a doorway for me to reveal healing and restoring power. There were moments you wept alone, believing no one could understand your pain. But I was there, and not one tear fell to the ground in vain. I have kept them as precious jewels, so that one day they will stand as testimony that my love carried you. You will not only be comforted, but you will become a source of comfort for others. As it is written in 2 Corinthians 1:4, He comforts us in all our affliction, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. You see, my love does not end with you. It flows through you to reach other souls in need of salvation. So do not keep your wounds as marks of shame, but let them become evidence of grace. Do not fear when the world misunderstands you, for I understood you before you were formed in your mother's womb. Do not seek your worth in the judgmental gaze of others, for your worth has already been established in the blood of my Son upon the cross. Rise up live as one who is loved, forgiven, and set free. I call you to let this love be not only theory, but the very breath of your daily life. When you awaken, remember you are loved. When you face hardship, remember you are not alone. When you stumble, remember there is a way back. And when you succeed, remember it is all by grace. If you live in this awareness, you will find life is no longer a burden, but a journey overflowing with blessing. My beloved, I will continue to lead you into another dimension of spiritual life, the practice of righteousness in the everyday, the union of faith and action, the way your practical living reflects the very nature of God. Remember, faith is the foundation, but action makes that faith visible. Faith is not a fine argument, but the breath that draws you into the role of transforming the world one step at a time. When you believe, I call you into responsibility. When you receive grace, I invite you to become grace to others. First, my child, you must understand that religious morality is not merely displayed in words of confession, but in the smallest of actions. A life of virtue is built through repeated deeds, keeping promises, speaking truth, fulfilling duty, even when no one sees, and choosing what is right in situations overlooked by others. These acts may seem ordinary, but they form the very essence of who you are. A person may loudly profess love, but if they exploit the weak, if they take advantage of their work to rob another, then that confession is empty. I do not desire formality, I desire sincerity expressed through action. Let every morning begin, not with schemes for yourself, but with the question today, how may I reflect my love to those around me? Next, let compassion guide every decision you make. Compassion is not a fleeting emotion, but a habit of the soul to feel the pain of others as your own, to respond with help rather than judgment, and to prioritize the weak without seeking self-interest. When you meet the poor, do not only give them what is left over, see them as bearers of dignity. When you meet the one who has failed, do not rush to condemn. Seek instead to bring healing. Compassion flows from the truth that all people bear my image and deserve respect. Your acts of compassion are the corridors through which grace flows into the world. They quench the thirst of forsaken hearts and illuminate the truth that my love is not an abstract idea, but a power that transforms reality. I also urge you to practice justice with humility. Justice is not wrath or revenge. It is the restoring of all things to their rightful place, the defense of those who cannot defend themselves, and the mending of wrong when harm has been done. When you rise to defend the oppressed, you act as my hand within society. But remember, this justice must be carried out with mercy. Justice cannot be severed from love, for without it, it hardens into cruelty and turns into destruction. Justice blended with mercy lays the foundation for lasting peace. That is your work under my guidance. Do not pursue justice for honor or victory. Pursue it because it is the order I have set for all people. In daily life, you must cultivate integrity. Integrity is not the display of moral gestures in public, but the keeping of oneself whole when no one is watching. The faith you profess will be tested in the moments when you must choose between convenience and righteousness. When you choose what is right, no matter the cost, you are laying the foundation of a trustworthy life. Others will see you and know here is one whose words and actions are one. And when you live in such a way, you create influence. A small community will grow stronger because there are people who live with integrity rather than with ornate speech. You must also practice compassion in every relationship. Compassion does not mean excusing wrongdoing, but choosing the path of healing instead of retaliation. Compassion looks at another's wound and seeks to bind it. It knows that punishment does not always bring change, but healing often can. When you come near to the hurting, do not rush to give advice. Let them know that you are there to listen, and sometimes listening is the most sacred act. Your presence may be a greater blessing than the most eloquent words. Furthermore, the faith you hold must be expressed in service. Service is not only found in great works within the church or institutions. It is the willingness to kneel and hold the hand of the elderly, to bring a meal to a grieving family, to spend time teaching a child whose parents cannot, to not fear, soiling your hands in cleaning a neglected place. Service is the language of love that all understand, and in serving you align yourself with my Son, the one who came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life. When you serve, you practice humility. You inscribe the mark of my love upon the lives of others. I remind you also of the need for perseverance in doing good. You will face weariness, rejection, and times when your efforts seem fruitless. In such moments, remember that good works often bear fruit slowly. At times, I require seasons for the seed to be sown and to take root in another's heart. Do not give up simply because you do not see immediate results. The seeds you plant today may blossom at a time when you are no longer there to see. I am the one who records every hidden deed, and I know when the harvest shall come. At the same time, you must nurture your inner life through spiritual discipline. Prayer is not a ritual, but breath. Reading the Word is not memorization, but allowing it to plow deep within. Silence is not avoidance, but space for me to speak. These practices nourish the inner strength for you to live out your calling. If you neglect your inner life, you will quickly run dry and easily fall into the temptation of living for appearances. Set aside time for me each day, not because I need your time, but because you need to be sustained by true life so that from it you may give to others. First, know that every deed you do is a testimony. People do not need to hear more theory. They need to see the difference in your life. Let your words be gentle, but your actions strong. Let your faith be such that others look up and wonder at the source of that peace. When you live this way, you do not only help an individual, you contribute to the making of a community, and that community becomes a sign of a world healed by God. My beloved, I place in you a great responsibility to make my love clear through practical action. Do not let your faith live hidden like a jewel tucked away in a box. Let it shine so that others may see and follow. Do not seek the praise of men, but live so that when others ask the reason for your hope, you can answer with your life and with sincere words. As it is written, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16. You are not to act for the sake of being commended, but that the Father's name may be glorified. And when the Father's name is glorified through you, then good will come to others. Step out and live in response to that call. Let your life be a song of action, a testimony that needs few words. And when you are weary, come to me. When you doubt, return to the Word. When you are discouraged, look to the cross. For in every circumstance, I am your comfort, your strength, and your way. You have been called to do great things by doing small things each day, and those small things will together become a transforming ocean. My beloved, I want you to recognize that the journey of faith you are on is not a short road, nor a passing test. It is a persistent process, a daily, hourly training by which your soul is shaped, refined, and drawn nearer to the source of eternal life. It is no accident that you have been placed in difficult circumstances, nor is it random that you must face trials that seem beyond your endurance. All of this is within the plan I have ordained for you, so that through them you may learn to see me, not only in blessings, but also in hardship, not only in words of blessing, but also in silence. Hear me. My love is not like the conditional love you are accustomed to among people. You have grown used to love that is earned, where acceptance depends on achievement, where closeness depends on pleasing others. But I tell you, my love transcends all those conditions. It is not founded on what you do, but on my very being. When I love you, it is not because you are perfect, but because I am love. And once you grasp this, you will be freed from the burden of striving to be worthy, for in my sight you have been declared righteous by the blood of my Son. Remember that I do not measure your worth by worldly success or failure. I look at faithfulness of heart. The world may belittle you when you do not attain what it calls achievement. But in my eyes, every step you take in steadfast faith, every time you choose truth, rather than convenient compromise, is a victory. I have seen you keep your word even when it cost you. I have seen you remain silent instead of striking back when you were offended. I have seen you pray for those who have hurt you. My child, these things are never meaningless. They are a fragrance rising to my throne, evidence that my love has taken root in your soul. Consider the grain of wheat. If it does not fall into the ground and die, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. So too, the sufferings and losses you endure are not meant to destroy you, but to open the way for a plentiful harvest. You may not see the results immediately, but I promise you that no sacrifice for love is ever in vain. Every drop of sweat, every wound, every night you spend in prayer with tears will become seed that springs to life in my timing. My child, understand this deeply. Your weakness is not a barrier to grace, but the very place where grace is displayed. The world teaches that you must be strong and must not reveal weakness. Yet I teach that when you acknowledge your limits and offer your imperfection to me, my power becomes complete. Do not be afraid that you are not competent. Do not fear that you lack strength. For I do not call perfect people. I call those who know how to trust me. When Moses stuttered, I still used him to free my people. When David was a shepherd boy, I set him over a nation. When Peter trembled, I made him a pillar of the church. Therefore you, with all your limits and faults, are even more the object through which I display my power. I know that at times you feel weary, as though you are walking a road too long with a burden too heavy. I hear your sighs in the night. I see your eyes lift, searching for a sign. And I want you to know I am never indifferent to these things. When you are tired, I am your rest. When you fall, I am the hand that lifts you. When you are lost, I am the light that guides. Do not let the enemy sow in you the doubt that I have forgotten. I will never forget. Even when you forget yourself, I remember you. Your name is engraved upon my hands, and you belong to me forever. Stand firm, because your reward does not come from people but from me. You may not see it now. Waiting may weary you, but believe that I am faithful. When you sow in tears, you will reap with shouts of joy. When you endure for my name, you will receive the crown of life. On that day you will see that no suffering can compare with the glory that will be revealed to you. My beloved, open your heart wide to love. Love is not only for you to feel, but for you to give away. I have poured my love into your heart so that it may flow like a river without running dry. Do not keep it to yourself, for love truly grows when it is shared. Love even when it is not returned. Forgive even when no apology is offered. Give even when no one records your deeds. When you do so, you become like me, for I love even my enemies. I forgive even those who nailed. My Son and I send rain on both the righteous and the unrighteous. My child, know that your life is not meaningless. Every word you speak in love, every action you perform in faithfulness, every moment you live in humility, carries eternal value. The world may not recognize it, but heaven records every detail. And one day, when you cross the threshold of eternity, you will see that all has been woven into a beautiful tapestry reflecting my love and grace. My child, each day you live is part of the great story I am writing. That story does not end in tears, but in glory. It does not stop at the cross, but continues in resurrection. You have heard me speak of love's steadfastness and grace revealed in weakness. Yet I know there remain questions in your heart. Why do the faithful suffer? Why do the wicked prosper? For a time, you perceive injustice, feel emptiness, and sometimes wonder whether your faithfulness is truly worthwhile. I want you to understand that some things lie beyond your narrow view, but are fully contained within my perfect plan. Consider the potter and the lump of clay. The clay does not understand why. It must be kneaded, pressed, struck, and put into the fire. But the potter knows, for he envisions the precious vessel being formed. If the clay could speak, it would surely complain, resist, even reproach. Yet when it comes forth from the kiln, it becomes a thing of value, purposeful, able to hold and to serve. Beloved, you are the lump of clay in my hands. I am the potter, and I do not err. Each blow, each shaping, each flame you endure exists to form the person I intend you to be. Do not fear the fire, for the fire does not destroy you, it refines you. Do not fear being shaped, for it is through that shaping that your true form is revealed. Remember Joseph's story. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and imprisoned, each moment seemed like injustice. If one judges only those fragments, one would think his life ended in shame. Yet I used those very sufferings to raise Joseph to the place of power, so that through him a nation was preserved in famine. Do you see? What you deem tragedy may be the stepping stone to glory. And I am writing a similar story about your life. What you suffer today may be the foundation for deliverance, blessing, and future honor. My child, I want you to view your life not as a sequence of random events, but as a symphony orchestrated with care. In that symphony, there are soaring notes of joy and deep, aching tones of sorrow. If you listen to one passage alone, you may not grasp the meaning. But when the whole piece resounds, you will recognize sublime harmony. I am the conductor. I miss no beat, and I know precisely when to pause, when to accelerate, and when to be still. Trust that even when you do not comprehend the music I compose for you is perfect, for it springs from infinite love and wisdom. Do not compare yourself to others. Every person I create has a unique journey, a distinct path, a personal calling. If you measure your worth by looking at others, you will fall into the snares of envy and shame. Know that you are irreplaceable. No one can fill your place in my plan. You are like a single piece in a larger painting. Without it, the picture is incomplete. So rather than looking outward, look to me and walk the path I have set aside for you. Remember, true blessing does not lie in wealth or fleeting success, but in my presence. Some are lavish, yet empty within. Some hold power, yet their souls are alone. Some are applauded, yet weep alone at night. But when you have me, you have all. In my love you find peace, money cannot buy, joy the world cannot give, and purpose which fame cannot satisfy. That is a true blessing. I know your weakness and how easily you falter. Yet I also know your hunger for truth, your seeking of light, your desire to live to please me. That pleases me. I do not demand perfection. I ask for faithfulness. I do not expect you never to fall. I ask that you rise after each fall. I do not require great achievements. I ask for a surrendered heart. When you do this, you will find my grace covering your shortcomings and my power compensating for your limitations. Learn to regard trials with the eyes of faith. Instead of asking, why ask? What does God want to teach me? Instead of blaming, seek wisdom. Instead of complaining, cling to my promises. You know that all things work together for good to those who love me and are called according to my purpose. Even apparent failures may become precious lessons. Even dead ends can open new ways. And remember, you are not alone on this journey. I have placed people beside you to walk with you, to lift you, to remind and encourage you. Do not withdraw into isolation or face struggles alone, for I made you live in community, to love and be loved. When two walk together and one stumbles, the other can help them up. When many pray together in unity, spiritual power is released and darkness retreats. The most important thing I want you to hold in your heart is this: I am faithful. Even when you are weak, I am faithful. Even when you doubt, I am faithful. Even when you go astray, I remain faithful, for I cannot deny myself. I began the work in your life, and I will complete it. So stand firm and keep walking, for the brilliant light awaits you at the end of the journey. My beloved child, I know you once thought the spiritual life required spectacular moments of devotion, times when your heart burned and your lips sang praise. But truly the journey is measured not by those rapturous moments, but by the long days of faithful obedience in silence through seasons of dryness when it seems I do not answer. It is in those hours that your faith is tested and proven. Like gold refined by fire, your faith must pass through the furnace to be purified, and in that process you learn that my love never wanes even though your feelings do. I want you to understand that perseverance is not keeping a blaze burning without fail, but retaining a spark when storms blow. Many begin brightly, only to cool, because they have not learned to endure the dim days. The sower scatters seed, some falls on rocky ground and springs up quickly, but when the sun rises, it withers for lack of root. I desire that you take root deeply in my love, so that when heat and storm come, your tree stands and bears fruit in season. Do not fear that your emotions grow faint. Mature love is not always a roaring flame, but a steady warmth that sustains through the long haul. I want you to learn to love me, not merely because of feeling, but because I am a faithful Father, unchanging. When you face long seasons of silence, you may think I have hidden myself. Yet in that stillness, I am digging deeper into your heart, teaching you to trust my presence rather than signs and wonders. Do you recall how Israel wandered 40 years in the wilderness? Not because I abandoned them, but because I used that time to train them, so they would not depend only on daily bread but live by every word I speak. Likewise, you must learn to find life in my word, even when miracles seem absent. That is where you truly grow and where I know you belong. Know that faithfulness is not a burden, but a testimony. Each day you walk with me, even in small things, becomes evidence that my love has rooted within you. When you forgive the one who wronged, you choose honesty over compromise and continue to pray in the dry seasons. These acts echo as songs of praise in heaven. Do not think only great deeds please me. Rather, the quiet acts done in faith are of lasting worth. I have seen the widow's 2 small coins and counted them greater than all, because she gave her whole heart. Likewise, when you offer me your silent moments, I treasure them in my heavenly storehouse, my beloved. Sometimes faithfulness will make you feel out of step with the crowd. People will mock and call you foolish for refusing easy shortcuts. They will not understand why you hold fast when everything seems to fall apart. But I tell you, it is in that steadfastness that you sow seeds which will bear fruit in a season no one can deny. Remember Joseph, sold into slavery, confined to a dungeon, yet faithful to me, and in time he rose to be a ruler and became a source of blessing to many. You cannot foresee what reward awaits, but be certain that faithfulness is never in vain. You may not immediately see the outcome, but heaven records every tear and every steady step. Look to my Son who endured suffering on the cross. He was faithful unto death, and therefore was exalted above all. Learn from him a wholehearted obedience. Not the obedience that comes when it's easy, but the obedience that perseveres at great cost. When he prayed, "Not my will, but yours," that was not defeat, but the triumph of absolute faithfulness. If my Son did not turn aside, neither should you. If he finishes the path of the cross, you too can complete the journey of faith, for he walks with you and supplies you day by day. My child, do not let delay dishearten you. I know you long for open doors and immediate answers, but remember, I am not only the God of beginnings, I am the God of processes. Each slow step and every seemingly insignificant day are the bricks that make durable faith. Do not despise small days, for in them I shape you to bear great responsibility. Believe that no moment is wasted when you walk in faithfulness. Every part contributes to the eternal picture you cannot yet see. When you are weary, lift your eyes to the city on high, where every tear will be wiped away, and where your faithfulness will be rewarded with imperishable glory. This is not an empty promise, but a certainty I have engraved in the everlasting covenant. Do not fixate on the narrow present. Open your vision to the glory awaiting you. As you pass through long nights, know that dawn will surely break. When the righteous sun rises, you will see that every faithful step you took was not in vain. Today I call you not to abandon faithfulness. Though you are weak and stumble, rise and continue, for I do not require instant perfection, but a heart that remains attached. I am a merciful Father, ready to lift you, to wipe away the dust, and to encourage you onward. What I desire is not flawless steps, but an undeterred journey. Let each passing day stand as proof that my love has transformed you from within, and believe that one day all that perseverance will shine like an everlasting crown upon your head. My dear child, in this moment I invite you to pause, breathe deeply, and let your soul hear the reminder I want to engrave upon your heart. The life of faith is not a collection of dazzling moments, but a continuous process, a quiet river that, by grinding away at pebbles, carves a channel for the flow. In that stream, every trial, every joy, every silent cry, and every word of thanksgiving matters, and is recorded by me until they converge into a harvest of glory. You may have often felt exhausted, believing your prayers fall into emptiness, your heart worn by loneliness and puzzled by the world's injustice. But I tell you, in the moment you think yourself abandoned, I am nearer than ever, upholding you with unseen strength you cannot see but can sense, with a patient heart and a willingness to praise even in bewilderment. Think of the times you chose forgiveness when anger rose, the nights you knelt to pray in darkness, unknown to others, the occasions you quietly gave your last morsel to the poor. These are the small seeds you sow, and I will make them sprout. Beyond your short sight, do not judge your work by immediate returns, but by the eyes of faith. A tiny seed can become a harvest. A small deed done in love can redeem a life. I wish you to remember that faithfulness is not for the sanctified elite, but is the breath of a believer's life. When you open your eyes, give thanks. When you touch another's pain, extend your hand. When you slow down, return to the quiet with me. These acts together form a devoted life and evidence that my love has truly reached you and borne fruit through you. Do not let comparing yourself to others discourage you, for each person is given a different segment in the grand work I build. Some ascend quickly, others wind through valleys, but every road under my hand leads toward the same destination, a full return to me in love. When you see the unjust prosper for a time, do not let bitterness take root. Look with eternal perspective, knowing such prosperity is not the measure of true grace, and that final justice will be demonstrated by me, for I am a righteous judge who does not err. Meanwhile, be courageous to live differently and uphold righteousness, for lives of quiet faith like yours exert a force that draws the world toward justice and compassion. Remember that when you feel weak, you open the door for my power to be displayed. When you recognize your limits and hand them to me, I strengthen you in a new way, not by a shallow confidence, but upon the solid rock of grace and truth. My beloved, do not fear weakness. It is the gateway through which grace comes to transform you. When Peter realized his failure and returned in tears, he later became a pillar because his failure made him rely less on himself and more on me. So let your stumbles be lessons that foster humility, and from that humility, I will bring forth greatness. Cultivate in your heart a habit of gratitude, for thankfulness is the light that guides during the darkest nights. Gratitude helps you notice everyday mercies. You might overlook a meal, a hand that steadies you when you are weary, an understanding glance. When you view life through a lens of gratitude, the world becomes a school of grace where I teach in the small particulars. I also want you to realize that community is not optional, but essential to spiritual life. When you gather with brothers and sisters, share burdens, lift one another, and pray together, you live out the essence of my given love. Do not shut yourself off or pridefully go it alone, because in humble connection, many wounds are healed, and hope often rekindles brighter. And when you serve others without seeking acclaim, do not measure your deeds by human applause. I see, I record, and I will respond in my way, sometimes not with riches, but with deep consolation, inner growth, or an influence planted in the hearts of others that you may never fully perceive. Do not despise small acts, for it is precisely the small acts of love that endure and bring great change. A timely encouragement may save a life, a silent hand offered may pull someone from the abyss, a just deed done without fanfare can open a way for righteousness where it was suppressed. I know you sometimes grow weary waiting for promises to unfold, tired because prayers are not answered in the way you expect. Remember, I work on my timetable, and delay is not necessarily denial, but an opportunity for your soul to grow. Like the farmer who does not rush the sprouting of seed, be patient with the seasons and entrust the outcome to my timing. You are called to keep the same patience in your spiritual life, remaining faithful even when you see no immediate fruit. Believe that every tear you shed is gathered, every prayer you utter is heard, and every act of love you perform is preserved, not lost to oblivion. I collect all these, and though they are unseen now, their invisible weight will be revealed in my appointed time when the curtain is lifted, and you see how the pieces of your life fit together into the beautiful design I ordained from before time began. Meanwhile, cling to my word so that it becomes the foundation of your mind and actions. When my word illuminates you, you can discern rightly, choose well amid noise, and not be swept away by passing trends. Let my word shape you. Let love be the current that flows through all your deeds. Love need not be grand to be genuine. True love is continuous, the chain that links you with me and with others. When that love becomes your breath, you live not merely for yourself, but for a community, for a generation, for those whom you will never meet, but who will reap the benefits of your quiet faithfulness. I have called you not because I need you, but because you need to be transformed to be free and to become a channel of blessing to others. Walk each day with courage, humility, and eyes fixed upon the eternal scroll, and you will see that I am faithful in every word I have spoken. You do not walk alone. I am with you from the unseen beginnings to the visible fulfillment, and in that journey, you will come to know the deep purpose behind every trial, that you might be made holy, and that my love might be manifested on earth through your life. My beloved child, as you approach the closing steps of today's journey, I invite you to view your life from another vantage, not by quick results or fleeting emotions, but by a steadfast timeline in which every thread inclines toward a holy purpose. I know you have grown tired of being misunderstood, discouraged by unanswered prayers, or disheartened when others choose the easy path and you find yourself alone in choosing what is right. Yet I say to you, do not let haste or the limited sight of the flesh obscure the deeper reality. Each day you live faithfully is a tile in the eternal mosaic I am setting. When placed together, they will reveal a radiant image you cannot perceive by holding up a single tile. Imagine your life as a river flowing through many landscapes. There are peaceful stretches where the water lies still and mirrors the sky. There are roaring waterfalls where the current is tested by pressure and its thunder reverberates through the valley. There are places where the water runs fast and places where it flows slowly, but no matter how it winds, the river steadily makes its way to the sea. You are not a river that flows apart alone. You run within a larger system in which every bend, every rapid, every fall serves to guide, polish, and strengthen the river's heart. Thus, the harsh experiences you encounter are not signs of failure, but are the river's course shaping you to grow deeper rather than to destroy you. I want you to learn to flow through trials with courage, knowing that in that movement your true character is more clearly formed, and you find strength not in calm, but in the fierce turns themselves. Do not forget your heart was made to love and to give. When you cling to pain or hoard indignation, you withdraw yourself from the current of the love I give. True love does not seek to store grievances for the sake of later revenge. True love dares to bring its wounds into my hands and allow me to heal them. Forgiveness is not an easy magic, but it is the path to freedom. When you forgive, you unlock chains within and open a channel for grace to flow. I do not say you must forget every hurt as if it never happened. Rather, I invite you to transform memory by placing it into my hands so those scars no longer dominate your life, but become marks that testify to the grace I have given. You may wonder about justice. Why do the ungodly sometimes prosper while the faithful live precariously? I do not dismiss that concern. I have seen it. But you need to understand that my power operates in a depth the human eye rarely discerns. Fleeting blessings can be tested, while enduring blessings often arrive slowly and in ways that only make sense when you look back and see the grand design. I give you a hope not tied to temporary prosperity, but rooted in inner steadiness and a future ordained by me. Keep yourself in righteousness and mercy. When you live thus, you cooperate with me to shape society according to justice and compassion, things money and fame cannot buy. Beloved, I remind you of the value of quiet prayer. Some think prayer only works when uttered with flourish, yet in truth, the earnest prayer is often the silent whisper of the heart. It is precisely in those moments of silence before me that you are renewed. Do not seek great signs to confirm your connection with me. Instead, practice listening for my silent presence, learning to discern the whisper of the Holy Spirit in small details. When you cultivate such listening, you become sensitive to the paths I open before you, paths that are not always flashy, but are meaningful and sure. I long for you to keep a serving heart without calculation. In a world of constant cost-benefit reckoning where deeds are measured by return, I invite you to be different. Serve not for reputation or image, but from the very nature of love I have placed within you. When you give your time, talent, or goods to the weak, do not measure response or expect recompense. Let your motive spring from a clean heart, knowing that I see and will repay in my way. There are treasures I store invisibly, and that reward far surpasses any earthly recompense. Remember that community is the place you are strengthened. I made you live with others to share burdens and to lift one another. When you suffer alone, the trial seems greater, but when you place your burden into the hands of brothers and sisters, comfort is spoken, intercession is offered, and endurance is lengthened. Do not isolate yourself out of pride or fear of losing face. Come humbly to your brothers and sisters, accept help, and be willing to give. This is the path that makes your faith practical and enduring. Beloved, I have often seen you choose silence over retaliation, perform helpful deeds without fanfare, and protect the weak through small actions, and I cherish these things. Those quiet gestures are the stepping stones that allow others to pass over. Do not demand the world's recognition. You live to honor me, not to secure a place in human eyes. When you place your life under my authority, I lift you and give you a voice that is powerful, not because it is loud, but because it is sincere. My dear one, trials do not only break you, they also make you shine. Some cracks in an old vessel make it beautiful in a new way when light passes through. Pain can open you to empathy you would never have known in an easy life. Do not flee sorrow as if it were the ultimate enemy. Use sorrow as a stern teacher that trains you to be more compassionate, to embrace other broken hearts, and to share the healing that has come to you. When I use your weakness to build the strength of mercy, you will understand that wounds are places where my grace is demonstrated. Be patient as you wait, but do not wait passively. The patience I desire is not hopeless endurance, but active vigilance. Watch over your life by my word. Do good where you can pray in silence, and persist with thanksgiving. Sometimes I give you favor precisely through that tireless effort. Sometimes I simply call you to hold a faithful heart until my appointed time arrives. In any case, each day lived this way is a fragrant offering before my throne. Take this word firmly. In every corner of your life I am present. No loneliness touches you without my knowledge. No pain falls that I do not gather. Let your heart rest in that truth and step forward with the courage of one who is loved. When you look back over your journey, you will see that though storms came, you were not washed away. You will see that the fragments of your life have composed a work far more than you imagined. Continue to live faithfully, continue to love, and continue to hold fast to hope. For I am the one who began, and I will bring to completion every good thing in you. My beloved, I come again to whisper to your soul with tenderness, yet with the unshakable power of eternal love. You have walked with me through many paths, and now I desire to lead you deeper into understanding my heart. I do not call you to a superficial faith, nor to be content with shallow knowledge. I call you into the depths of faith where every breath of yours is nourished by my presence, where every anxiety dissolves before the light of my love, and where your soul finds true rest. My beloved, you have longed many times to hear my voice resound clearly like thunder across the sky, like a sign that cannot be denied. But my child, I do not only speak through what is grand and overwhelming. I also speak in stillness, in moments that seem insignificant. A drop of dew resting on the morning leaf, a gentle breeze brushing against your skin, a compassionate gaze from another. All of these can become the means I use to tell you I am here. I will never forsake you. The question is not whether I speak, but whether your heart is open to receive. Do not confine me to the way you expect. Do not demand that I speak only through mighty wonders. I am the creator of the universe, and I can use every means to reveal myself. When you learn to see me in the smallest of things, you will recognize that you have never walked alone. Not for a single day have you lived without my presence beside you. Let this truth become the foundation of your life. I am your father, and you are my child. This relationship is not built on effort or achievement. It does not waver with emotions, nor is it shaken by failure. It is sealed in the blood of my only Son who died and rose again for you. This love cannot be broken, cannot be replaced, and no power in heaven, on earth, or under the earth can sever this bond. You may drift away from me in your thoughts, you may close your heart in fear, but I still stand there waiting for you to return, ready to embrace you with the tenderness of a father who never abandons his child. You often believe that your weakness is a burden to me. You hesitate to come near when overwhelmed by failures, fearing that my eyes will condemn. But my child, I do not look at you through the lens of sin, but through the blood my Son has shed. I see you forgiven, cleansed, reborn. The weaker you are, the more I long to be your strength. The more lost you are, the more I run to find you. Like the father who ran to meet his prodigal son, I also ran to you not to rebuke, but to place a new robe on your shoulders, new sandals on your feet, and a ring on your hand, reminding you that you always belong to my household. You also think that your pain is a sign of abandonment. But I tell you, not one tear you shed is meaningless before me. I gather each drop, I record every groan, and I weave them into a melody in the symphony of your life. What you do not understand today will become light for tomorrow. You do not need all the answers now. You only need to know that I am the one who holds every answer, and I will reveal them in due time. Do not let silence make you doubt my love. Remember my son, who in his final hour upon the cross cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Yet even in that silence, my greatest plan was being fulfilled, salvation for all humanity. If my silence then carried eternal redemption, then the silence you are experiencing today also carries a meaning far greater than your present understanding. Believe this, when you do not hear me, I am still working, and that work will bear good fruit in my time. My beloved child, I want you to learn this vital truth. Live in the present with trust. Do not dwell in the past, weighed down by regret, nor be consumed by fear of the future yet to come. Today has enough grace for you to live, and that grace never runs dry. When you open your eyes each morning, know that I was already there, preparing everything you need. As you walk through your day, know that I go before you, walk beside you, and guard you from behind. When you close your eyes in rest, be assured that I watch over you through the night. Every moment is held in my hands, and you have no reason to fear. Train your soul to rest in my peace. This peace is unlike the peace of the world, fragile and dependent on circumstances. My peace stands firm even in the storm, for it flows from me, the one who never changes. When your heart is filled with my peace, you will have the strength to forgive, to love, to endure, to resist the lies and chaos around you. My peace is a fortress, shielding your soul, a shade, protecting you in the noonday heat, a flame warming you in the cold of night. I call you to be light for others, not through boasting, but through a life of humility and faithfulness. You do not need to perform great deeds to prove your worth. You only need to live true to the love I have placed within your heart. A gentle word to one in despair, a small act of kindness, a choice to forgive when wronged. All these are lamps shining in the darkness. I will use what seems small to transform lives, for in my hands nothing is small. Remember, hope never dies when it is placed in me. The world may promise and then betray, but my word endures forever. The world may turn its back on you, but I hold you close. The world may change with each passing day, but I remain the same. Let your hope in me be the strength that drives you forward, even when everything around you urges you to stop. This hope is not an illusion, but a certainty built upon my promise, a promise sealed by the resurrection of my Son. And finally, know this: you are never alone in the battle. I have given you my Spirit to dwell within you, the Comforter, the Teacher, the Guide. He will remind you of the truth, strengthen you in weakness, and intercede for you with groans beyond words. You may not see him, but his presence is eternal reality. And through him you will not fall, for strength from on high is continually poured out to uphold you. My child, stand firm. Walk with a heart full of trust. Let every day you live become a testimony to my everlasting love. When you finish your journey and look back, you will see that every footprint was surrounded by grace, and every tear you shed has turned into glory. I am your Father, you are my child, and this bond shall never be broken. My beloved child, when I lead you through seasons of trial, you often ask why those days linger, why the darkness seems to press in, and why my promises have not yet unfolded before your eyes. But hear this: I never let you walk in vain. Every moment you endure in faith etches into your soul a depth no ease or wealth could ever grant. Remember, this endurance is not forged in peace but refined in the fire. And this fire under my control will not consume you but will refine you as pure gold. There are those who see trials only as disasters, as signs of abandonment. But I tell you, trials are the proof that you belong to me. Just as a father never lets his child live recklessly, but disciplines him with stern love, so I am doing with you. As it is written, for the Lord disciplines the one he loves as a father the son in whom he delights. Proverbs 3:1-2. Therefore, when you feel the weight pressing upon your shoulders, know that at that very moment my love is leaving its mark upon your life. My child, I see within you a pearl yet unpolished, and I know that its beauty can only be revealed when my hand refines it with touches that seem painful. Like a rough diamond unnoticed until it is cut, shaped, and polished to reflect the light you are in that very process. Do not fear the striking blows. Do not fear the fragments that fall away, for it is through these that you are becoming the person I have destined you to be. And when my light shines upon the soul I have refined you, will radiate a beauty that does not come from this world but from heaven itself. You once thought that calmness was the sign of blessing, but I tell you the true blessing is my presence in the midst of the storm. If you only know me when the skies are clear and the waters still, then your faith is as shallow as soil upon stone. But when you see me standing beside you in the storm, when you hear my voice above the roar of the wind, when you feel my hand holding yours as the whirlpools threaten, then your faith truly takes root. Do not think I seek to exhaust you. No, I want you to discover a strength that does not belong to you but to me. For it is in your weakness that my power is made perfect. As the Apostle Paul declared, when I am weak, then I am strong. 2 Corinthians 1:2-1-0. This strength does not come from your stubborn will, but from me, the Creator of heaven and earth. And when you learn to lean upon me, you will find yourself walking through what once seemed impossible. Do you know why I allow long silences on your journey? Because it is in that silence you learn to listen. If I answered every prayer immediately, if I opened the way at your first request, you would never know the worth of seeking me, never learn to distinguish my voice amidst the clamor of 1,000 others. In silence, your soul becomes sensitive, attentive, and aware that I alone am enough. And when you realize my presence surrounds you even when no voice is heard, then your faith grows into a mighty tree. My beloved child, remember that my timetable is not like yours. You see each day as a weary cycle, but I see your entire life as a grand tapestry. You desire results at once, but I desire maturity. You plead for the door to open immediately, but I know it must only open when you are ready to walk through it. If I give too soon, the gift could destroy you. But if I withhold, that very delay strengthens you to receive the blessing in full. Do not think I ignore your tears. I record each one, I count every sigh. As it is written in the Psalms, you have kept count of my wanderings. Put my tears in your bottle. Psalm 5, 6, 8. Not one cry of yours falls into nothingness. All are preserved by me to one day be poured out as a river of joy. You will see that the wounds of today are the very gates through which streams of grace will flow. Believe that your life is like iron in the hands of a blacksmith. When thrust into the fire, it seems to melt away. When struck by the hammer, it seems to break. But the blacksmith knows exactly what he is doing. He does not destroy the iron. He is shaping it into a strong and useful tool. Likewise, the trials you endure are not meant to crush you, but to forge you into an instrument for my great purpose. When the fire has passed, when the hammering ceases, you will no longer be a meaningless piece of metal, but a shining, resilient vessel fit for the work of my kingdom. Trust that in every dark day I still hold the hammer with skilled hands. I will never let the fire burn too long to consume you, nor strike so hard that you shatter. I know your limits, and I know precisely when to lift you from the flames to give you rest. Do not fear this process, for I am the wise master craftsman, and you are a precious instrument in my hands. Lift your eyes to the cross. There my son endured pain that seemed pointless, endured scorn, endured forsakenness. Yet in that place of apparent defeat, the greatest glory was revealed. If I could turn a tree of death into the source of salvation for all nations, will I not also turn your trials into testimony of my grace? Never believe that darkness has the final word. The cross has proven once and for all that light is always the last voice. Therefore, my child, stand firm. Do not let voices of despair drown out the truth. Do not let present circumstances obscure eternal vision. You belong to me, and your destiny is to live in the light, not in darkness. I will complete the good work I began in you, as my word has promised. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ. Jesus, Philippians 1:6. My child, if there is one truth you must hold fast to, it is this: I never change. Your feelings change, your circumstances change, even friends around you change, but my love for you stands firm as everlasting rock. And it is that very love that will keep you steadfast through every storm. Lift up your head, for I am drawing near. I do not leave you alone. Let your heart rest in the certainty that you are in my hands and no power can snatch you away from them. Keep walking faithfully, keep believing, keep moving forward, for your reward is near. My beloved child, there are moments in your life when it seems the heavens have closed and you ask, is there still a way out for me? But I tell you, no door closes in my purpose without opening a greater path. When you stand before walls that seem unbreakable, remember that I caused Jericho's walls to fall with nothing but the sound of trumpets and the shout of my people, not by their strength, but by my power. So when your strength is spent, know this is the moment my power shines brightest. My child, understand this. Every trial is not a trap to destroy you, but a corridor leading you deeper into my revelation. Like a river that meets rapids, it seems blocked, yet the turns and the roar make it majestic. So too, the bends and the roar of trials in your life are the very places where my name is exalted. Do not fear the rough passages, for I am composing the full song with both low and high notes. If your melody had only gentle tones, it would lack depth. But with every resounding chord, I am making your symphony echo into eternity. Do not think you are forsaken in the dark. Darkness is but the backdrop for my light to shine more brilliantly. When every lamp is extinguished, the fire of my own hand burns brighter and never fades. As I promised in Isaiah 4:5-3, I will give you the treasures of darkness, riches stored in secret places, so that you may know that I am the Lord. Do you see? Even in places where your eyes perceive only shadows, I hide treasures prepared for you. Trials do not steal what is precious. They reveal what ease could never unveil. My child, I am the potter holding you as clay. When my hand presses, when I turn the wheel, it is not to crush you, but to shape you. The cracks you see are not signs of ruin, but openings for my glory to shine through. As Paul once wrote, we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. 2 Corinthians 4:7. You are the vessel, and I am the one who gives you worth. Do not fear the roar of storms, for I hold lightning in my hand. Do not tremble before the waves, for I am the one who walked upon the sea. Do not doubt when you find yourself in the furnace, for as I was with the 3 friends of Daniel, I am also with you. No flame can consume you, for fire is only the means to ignite the light within you, so that others may see and know there is a living God. Therefore, my child, let your heart be steadfast, like Mount Zion, that cannot be moved. Let your soul drink from the living waters that flow from me, never running dry. And remember, your life is not a flickering candle about to go out, but a torch in the hand of the Creator, lit to shine upon the darkened paths of the world. My beloved child, There are times when you look to the heavens and ask, Father, where are you in all this turmoil? Do you truly hear me when I call? I want you to know that I am not only present in the heights of heaven, but I walk in every breath of your life. You are not a grain of sand swept by the wind, lost and insignificant. You are a masterpiece shaped by my hand and my breath. Every detail of your life lies within the loving design I ordained from the beginning. Think of a grand symphony with deep tones and high notes, with silences woven into resounding melodies. If you stop at a single measure, it seems broken, meaningless. But when the whole symphony is played, every detail harmonizes into a masterpiece. So it is with your life, bright days and dark days, moments of joy and moments of tears, all are woven into a single melody, the song of my love and faithfulness to you. When you see trials, I see opportunities to strengthen your faith. When you feel loss, I see a foundation to give you something greater. And when you think you are depleted, I see the moment you are ready to receive my strength. Remember, I do not measure your worth by what the world calls success. I measure it by your faithfulness, your patience, and the gaze of your heart toward me in the night. My child, my promises never fail. As I declared through Isaiah, though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken, nor my covenant of peace be removed. Isaiah 5:4-1-0. Even when the firmest things of this world quake and vanish, my mercy abides with you. Think of the sea waves may surge, storms may rise, but the deep remains calm. My love for you is like that ocean. Its surface may be stirred, but its depths are forever still unchanging. Many times you find yourself wandering a barren desert. The sun scorches, and all you see ahead is dust. You cry, Father, where is the water? But you forget that in the wilderness I brought forth water from the rock for my people to drink. It is in the dryness that I display my power to sustain. I will not let you die of thirst. I will not let your soul wither. Only lift your eyes and you will see my traces still there. A sudden shade, an unexpected spring, a gentle whisper in the hot wind. Think of life as a voyage. There are days of calm seas, and there are days when storms rage. You tremble as your small boat is tossed about. But remember, I am the captain, and I never leave the deck. Though the wind roars, I hold the helm. Though the waves rise, I know the harbor. And in your trembling I still speak. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Just as my son rebuked the storm on the Sea of Galilee, and it grew still, so I can calm the storm within you. You often think you are but a nameless drop of water in a vast ocean of humanity. But I tell you, every drop reflects the sunlight, and each one contributes to the sea. You are not lost in the crowd, not forgotten. I know your name, I number every hair on your head, I collect every tear you shed. To me you are unique, you are the treasure I cherish more than gold or jewels. My beloved, there are days when darkness closes in around you. Doubting whispers arise. You are worth nothing. You are a burden. You are unloved. But remember, that voice does not come from me. My voice always reminds you, you are my child, chosen by me, loved with an everlasting love. As Jeremiah 3:1-3 records, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore I have drawn you with loving kindness. Nothing in the past, the present, or the future can sever that bond. Therefore do not let your gaze rest only on the temporary. Do not allow the clamor of the world to drown out my whisper. Do not let fear take the place that faith ought to occupy. Look upon all things in the light of eternity. Today's losses are only temporary, but the reward I have prepared for you is eternal. As Paul wrote, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." 2 Corinthians 4:1-7. Do you see, the pain of today cannot be compared with the eternal glory I am preparing? I know you sometimes grow discouraged because you do not see immediate results. You long for things to happen quickly and clearly, but child, lasting things never come in haste. Like a stone statue, each chisel stroke brings pain, yet ultimately reveals a wondrous form. I am shaping your life in that way. Every trial, every failure, every tear, these are the chisel strokes upon the raw stone, revealing the radiant image I ordained. Remember, you never walk alone. When you fall, I am the hand that lifts you up. When you despair, I am the voice that comforts. When you pass through the valley of the shadow of death, I am the light that illuminates your way. And when you think yourself forsaken, in truth, I am nearer than ever. You only need to stop and listen, and you will hear me whispering, Father is here. I have never left you. So, dear one, stand firm. Do not tremble before fleeting changes. Do not lose heart before results are seen. Do not let lies cause you to forget the truth. Cling to the promises, trust in love, and walk, step by step, in confidence. For in the end, when you look back, you will see every detail, both pain and joy, has become eloquent testimony to the unchanging love of the Father. My beloved, there are things I want you to know, not merely with your mind, but with the deep experience of your soul. My love and faithfulness are not abstract concepts, but a living reality woven through each day of your life. When you open your eyes in the morning, the very first breath you draw is proof that I am still with you. When the sun sets and darkness falls, it is my preservation that allows you to lie down and rest. You may think these rhythms happen naturally, but behind every ordinary heartbeat, the patient hand of the Father holds you. Remember, I care not only for the great events in your life, but for the smallest details. As Jesus taught, are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care, and even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Matthew 10:29-30. Do you see? Even a single hair that falls is not beyond my sight, much less the tears and the pain in your heart. I see. I know I keep, and I transform all things for your good. Sometimes you accuse me. Father, why are you silent? Why do you let me suffer alone? But you are mistaken. I am not silent to abandon you, but to teach you to recognize me in stillness. I do not leave you in darkness, but invite you to discover the light that comes not from without, but from the Father who is the source of light within you. As when Israel crossed the wilderness, I appeared as a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. I am still the same. You may not see with natural eyes, but if your heart lifts up, you will discern the marks of my presence everywhere. My child, I know you long for a life of calm and few storms. But consider, if the sea never had waves, would ships learn to sail far? If the sky never blew with wind, would birds learn to fly high? Likewise, if your life consisted only of peaceful days, you would never experience the strength I grant in your weakness, nor the steadfastness I build when you are trembling. Remember what I spoke to Paul. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 1:29. Therefore, even within your limitations, I can accomplish completeness. You often view the events of your life as scattered fragments, but I see the whole picture. You see the rough path ahead. I see the road that leads to the eternal city. You see a door closed. I see 10 doors opening. You see a single tear. I see the river of consolation that will flow. Trust that nothing in your life is accidental. All is woven into a greater design, and nothing can thwart my ultimate purpose for you. I know there are days when you feel useless, when your efforts seem fruitless. You compare yourself with others and find yourself lacking. But remember, I have not called you to be like someone else. I have called you to be yourself, a unique version made by the Father with its own meaning. The world may overlook you, but I never will. Like a pearl hidden in the mud, I see the true value that human eyes miss. I will cleanse, polish, and set that pearl so that eternal light may reflect from it. Child, my presence is not merely a doctrine, but a reality. you can touch. Try to recall sudden moments, an encouraging word from a stranger, a song that rose at just the right time when you were despairing, a shaft of light breaking through dark clouds, warming your heart. Those are not coincidences. Those are my footprints, messages that the Father has not left you. You may not always recognize them, but I am near, and every small detail is the language I use to speak to you. My promises are never empty. Time may make you think I delay, but in truth I am working in ways unseen by your eyes. Just as a river silently carves into the earth until suddenly it bursts forth as a spring, so shall my promises be fulfilled in your life, unexpectedly and surely. You need only patience and trust. Do not measure my love by the ticking clock of this world. Measure it by the scale of eternity. For in me there is no delay, only fulfillment at the appointed time. My beloved, engrave this truth in your heart: you do not walk in vain. You have a Father who loves you, a shepherd who guides you, a lighthouse that never goes out. Though the sea may rage, though storms may howl, that light still shines. Though you wander lost in the forest, I leave markers along the path. And though you may stumble and fall countless times, my hand is always extended to lift you up. Nothing in this world can snatch you from my hand. As Romans 8:39 declares, for I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor rulers, neither things present nor things to come, nor powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Do not let the darkness conceal the light of your Father. Do not let fear drown out my voice of love. Let your soul rest in the certainty that I am faithful, that my love never changes, that my purposes will be accomplished in your life. One day when you look back, you will see that every tear, every wound, every laugh, every hidden prayer, each was gathered by me to weave into one story, the story of a father who never abandoned his child. My beloved child. When all words have been spoken and all guidance has been given, now I weave together every thread, gathering all tenderness, power, and truth into one final counsel, not because I have run out of words, but because I want you to carry this one in your heart like a star, guiding you through the deep night. Hear your Father whisper, your life is not a random sequence of joys and sorrows, but a story with intent, written with grace, with trials, with love that does not let go. Every chapter matters. Every memory, whether bitter or sweet, contributes to the fullness of your life's manuscript. I do not speak to you with hollow slogans, but with realities that have touched me. I have known each anguish within you. I have heard prayers lifted from the silence of stone. I have seen tears unspoken by your lips. Let me make this clear. Not one of your lonelinesses has fallen into the void. Not one of your cries has been forgotten. I hold all things in my hand, and I am working not by the hurried pace of the world, but by the sacred rhythm of eternity, where everything ripens in its season and all will be revealed in light. O child, faithfulness is not an easy crown to seize. It is a daily journey, a chain of small but steady choices. You are not tested to be destroyed, but to be engraved. Long nights, betrayed words, broken opportunities, all these are bricks with which I build a strong house where you may shelter others. Do not mistake loss for denial. It is often the doorway to new abundance unseen by human eyes. Just as light is most beautiful when it passes through stained glass, so your character shines most brightly when my light refracts through trials endured. You have heard me use many images to portray my love and discipline: the blacksmith, the tapestry, the ship at sea, the vessel being refined. Now hear me with another image. Imagine your life as a sacred book of the kingdom. Each page is a day you live. Each line is written not only in ink of words, but in the invisible script of deeds and choices. Some pages glow with praise, some blur with tears, some hold only faint lines. Yet when I open that book before heaven, I do not seek perfection. I seek your courage, your repentance, your love. On that day when you stand before me, I will not ask about earthly titles of honor, but about the heart you gave to your brothers and sisters, the faithfulness you held in little things, the way you clung to my feet in the storm. I also want you to remember that forgiveness is never wasted words, but a door that opens into freedom. When you hold on to resentment, you close that door, locking yourself away from healing light. Forgiveness does not erase the past, but it gives you the power to let the past no longer rule the future. Forgive as I have forgiven you, not because the other deserves it, but because you deserve to be free. As my Son gave himself on the cross to bring reconciliation, so you must lay down your heart to become an instrument of peace. When you love and forgive, you not only break your own chains of hatred, but open a way for others to be healed. Perhaps you wrestle with questions of justice, with the fleeting order. Your eyes perceive the wicked seem to prosper while the faithful are forgotten. I understand your questions, but I see by a different measure. I look at the heart, not merely at temporary outcomes. A day is coming when all things will be revealed, justice will resound, and goodness will blossom. But until that day, I invite you to be part of the answer. Live justly. Do not repay evil. Make love tangible. When you are faithful amidst injustice, you plant seeds of the kingdom whose harvest lies ahead. I speak to you in the voice of peace. Do not let the noise of the world unsettle your soul. Countless alluring invitations will call you to false shores. Countless fleeting sparks of fame will try to blind you from eternal purpose. Keep a pure heart, discern what is passing from what is everlasting. Choose what will endure when all is tested by fire. For you I do not require outward splendor. I seek inward diligence, sincerity, and a heart ready to be offered. And never forget the power of simple prayer. Often you think great prayers must carry titles, must resound loudly to be effective. But I have said, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Matthew 1:1-8. Your prayer, even if only a faint sigh in the night, still reaches my ear. Your whispered cry is the small fuse connecting you to the infinite current of grace. Do not despise those quiet moments. They are where you receive strength to walk on. In the moments of your weakness, remember the old saying, "When I am weak, then I am strong." 2 Corinthians 1:2-1:0. Do not flee from your weakness, bring it before me. There I will bud new life in you, not by easy magic, but by deep transformation. I find my glory in what you allow me to mend. The cracks in you, when I let light through, become channels through which grace radiates. Do not fear to reveal those broken edges. It is precisely there that I touch you. And let me remind you of hope. Hope is not passive waiting, but an active trust in the future I have promised. Hope is the anchor in the storm, the eye that sees the dawn before the sky brightens. When you embrace that hope, you do not bear pain alone. You walk with your Father with the promised light ahead. As the Psalms and the witness of Scripture reassure us, I have inscribed your name on my heart, and no power can separate you from that love. Romans 8:3-8:39. Hold this promise like a stone reserved on the path you tread. In closing, let what you have heard today sink into the fabric of your life. Live not for yourself, but for a higher union. Love not for reward, but because love itself is the source. Faithfulness is not a burdensome duty, but an honor to co-labor with the Father in building a world that reflects His will. When you give your life away, I make it a grand anthem, not flawless, but beautiful in its truth, not lofty, but deep in heart. You may leave here with many questions, and that is good. Bring your questions before me. Lay every doubt in the heart of prayer. I will walk with you through each question and answer in my way. When you are weary, lay your head upon the Father's breast. When you are weak, ask the Father for rest. When you rejoice, lift up a song of thanksgiving. The journey is not finished, but you do not go alone. The Father goes before you, stands behind you, is beside you, and dwells within every breath you take. May this word nourish your soul as holy bread. May this voice be a shield when the storm comes. May the Father's gaze ever be the light that guides your steps. Live, beloved, with the courage I give, with the humility I cherish, and with the hope I keep. For in the end all things will conclude in a rising light, and you in my hand will see that every tear was wiped away, every trial had purpose, and love prevailed. I bless you with peace, not the absence of storms, but my presence amid them. Go forth, my beloved, in the light of my love. Amen. Thank you for listening to today's message. Please subscribe and turn on the notifications bell so we may together receive the living words, build steadfast faith, and walk in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.